So, hello and welcome to this special live stream, Discovering Your Ascension Templates.
We are really, really excited to be here with Asil once more for Accelerated Ascension number 4. We keep on doing these because the energetic is growing every time we do it. And as most of you know, this year and the energy acceleration that's happening is vital for us to jump on board to this rushing energy. Hi, Asil.
Hello, Prageet. Hi, Jules. It's good to see you guys. And as you said, it's almost like it is a movement, it's a momentum that we started in Costa Rica. In the meantime, it's probably how many years? 5 years? It's been 5 years,
Yeah.
right? 5 years. When we started in Costa Rica, we thought we might maybe do like one, two, or three. Now we're at the fourth one. And it was so clear last year that we were going to do another one. Like everyone was asking, like, when can we continue this work? Even before it ended, right? And so I'm super excited about it because I do feel like this is a good answer. It may not be the solution to all the problems that humanity is currently facing, but it is a solution, a answer that we can embody and embrace to participate in, that we can bring a new energetic and energy into this world that is certainly being challenged.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. And I just want to just reach out to all the people. I'm just looking at our two different lines of chat. There's people from all over the world. And I just want to invite everyone right now, take a moment and just intentionally connect with everyone and just feel that. Because when we do that, there's an instant field of energy that just connecting with our intention, it creates that. And can you imagine, if you haven't before, being in a room with hundreds of people, all connected and all ascending together? Because when we go there, we go as we are. And then when we leave with a higher vibration and a deeper understanding of what's going on in the world, and more importantly, what's going on within us. And so, thank you all for being here on this live stream, because this is not just another channeling to let you know what's going on. This is part of the process.
We're building up toward accelerated ascension. And in the 10, 15 minutes before we went live today, so much energy started flooding in. And that's all of us around the world. And it's also the guides and higher dimensional beings. It's spirit and our true nature, our superconscious, starting to energize our humanness. What we're going to do on this live stream today is we're going to go deep into channeled questions and answers all about what is ascension and what are these ascension templates. And then we're going to move into an actual energy transmission where we'll be soaking in the energies of this accelerated ascension field that we're building together.
And so the understanding of what's going to happen and the understanding of what's happening now will be brought even clearer.
Yeah. And so for those who may not know, Asil is actually a trance channel. And I've heard you say, Asil, that you actually become an embodied vessel for the angelics to come through you and others. So do you want to say a little bit about how that works for you?
Sure. It's really like one of the most interesting, one of the most paradoxical things I've ever done. It's kind of aspiring to be as empty as possible and to aspiring to know as little as possible, so I can be like as an empty vessel for an energy to speak through without any of the filters of Asil the human, without any of the biases, the conditioning of Asil the human. And so being a channel is, as you guys know, a very interesting experience, some other intelligent form or consciousness is speaking through you. And on top of that, you have your own perceptions. You may be observing what is being said. And sometimes that may challenge your own beliefs or your own perspectives in the moment of the channeling. So I'm just like everyone else here, an audience member of the channeling that's happening through me in the embodiment that it's coming through. The work to get to this place was, as some of you may know, a significant amount of energetic work and practice and training, so that there is not just a consciousness or information being transferred, but it's also an energy that is being transferred, almost like a routing station from the angelic realm, to be able to be witnessed and received here in this energetic field that we are co-creating together. And so I'm excited that this work that's coming through me is compatible with the work that's coming through you, which is not always a given, right? There is so many beautiful people doing incredible work. That doesn't necessarily mean they're compatible tools or compatible vessels or compatible energetics, correct?
Absolutely. And what happens with the Stargate is that we create a high vibrational energy field, and the whole technology is there's nothing to do. Just by relaxing into the field, people's awareness naturally expands, where even people who usually don't feel energy start to not only feel energy, but feel the change in the energy, or sometimes even see as the guides are called in. And so all of the senses we have here in this dimension start to activate on the etheric, higher, multidimensional levels of perception. And that happens even if you've never meditated before. And so I always like to say what happens when we collaborate with you is that it's like rocket fuel gets poured into the field. And so we've got our rocket here. We're getting super powered up and we're ready to go. And you know, in Slovenia last year, it was so strong. And there were multiple spontaneous rebalancings, as Alcazar calls them, reported afterward. And so the field is continuing to get stronger and stronger. And I'm really curious to see what can happen this year. So, Asil, the concept of Ascension Templates came through, I believe, the Elohim through you when we were in Costa Rica in 2021 for our very first accelerated ascension.
That was the first time I had ever heard of it myself. It was literally in the midst of the retreat. And you guys know how that goes, right? Suddenly the guides are just dropping something massive in the midst of a retreat. You didn't even know that's coming. And that was a really important moment, an interesting moment. And you, as Stargate and as a community, have been working with the concept of ascension for a while, right? We can look at ascension from an individual perspective, the evolution, the growth, the awakening, the self-realization we go through, the healing that we go through, and the ascension that we go through as a soul in human form in this life. And then we look at the ascension process of humanity as a collective, as a family, as a collective consciousness. And that is also connected to the individual's ascension process, right? And I remember in Slovenia, someone had asked, well, why do I have to do this work if the collective ascension is happening anyways, right? And if people are uplifting the field, then maybe I can just like chill out and lean back and let some other people do the work. And I think the answer, I don't remember exactly what the answer was, but that's certainly an option. And it is a choice. And I think it's a choice that we are making consciously as souls. Do we want to just lean back and watch the show unfold? Or do we want to be part of a solution, a part of a service that's greater than just us?
Mm.
And it is, you know, in this type of consciousness evolutionary work, I always say the guides talk about win-win-win situations. There is never a I win, you lose kind of thing. It's always established in a way that it is set up to create win-win-win circumstances.
Mm.
So, yeah, what do you think, Prageet, in terms
Well,
of
for
collective and
me, it's like if people are hearing these words, then their superconscious or their higher self has brought them here because this is the step that they need to make. So it doesn't really matter so much what the mind is saying. The message from your higher aspects is saying this is the next step. And so we all have our minds and we try and interpret what's going on in our lives. But more and more, I feel it's about trusting your intuition, trusting the guidance. And if you felt to tune in to this experience, it's because you are one of those that's, in a sense, been invited, but also getting a push from your higher aspects to take these steps for yourself. Because ultimately, it's all about me and my evolution, and that is very much part of the global change that's happening. And we're being called to do our part. And it's always a choice. Being here is always a choice because of the duality, because of the nature of this existence here. But Alcazar often says, choose again, choose higher, choose the next step.
The way I see it is there are these certain windows that open, and it's a bit like catching a wave on a surfboard. So it's like the energy field that we're building together with accelerated ascension is this massive wave. And we're like, get your surfboard because this wave is going to like come and carry you further and faster than you would go if you didn't have this huge energetic surge
Mm.
pushing you behind you. And so I think that's really the question. And it's like, are you going to let these waves pass you by and stay where you are at one level of consciousness? Or are you going to rise up and go on the biggest thrill ride of your life?
And the thing is that as you raise your vibration, you are far more consciously creating your own reality. And that's a vital part of understanding why we're doing this. Because if you can control more and more or create more and more in your reality, you start to create better experiences in your life.
We're all a bit like avatars to our own true selves here on planet Earth.
Perhaps you better explain that.
Why don't you explain that?
Okay, well, for those people familiar with computer games where you have an avatar, a little being that you take around on the various levels of the game. And many scientists also suggesting now that this human body is an avatar for our higher self or for our uh, sorry, I'm lost it. It's an
Superconscious.
avatar for our super consciousness, this higher aspect of ourselves.
Okay, so we're all so you can imagine yourself as like you're an all-knowing, super conscious, super loving being. And you've been dropped into this reality that's a bit like a maze. And you're navigating through the maze. And the whole thing is a setup for you to rediscover who you truly are. And those people, again, who are hearing these words, like, you've gotten glimpses of that. And to me, that's the greatest richness of experiencing, is actually putting ourselves in the circumstances where we can get those flashes. And it's not just about peak experiences, although those come. It's also when we're working with the field in this way, as opposed to maybe some other modalities that like bang open the doors. With the field and working with coherent energy, it's actually rewiring you to be able to access more and more of these higher states in a stable way. So we're literally reconfiguring ourselves. And that kind of brings us back to Ascension Templates. And I love this idea that the Elohim brought, that we all actually have these innate templates that are just waiting for us, dormant inside of us, waiting for us to reach the conditions where they start to reawaken. Asil, do you want to share a tiny bit about your understanding?
Yes, happy to. So the way I see it is we are in an energetic environment that is running at a certain frequency or energy level. And let's just call it that's the current, that the current voltage by which we're operating in this human form. And that's not always like set. There was a period where it seemed to be like stable, but it's changing, it's fluctuating. Sometimes there is more energies coming through. Sometimes there is solar flare. Sometimes there is supernova. So this energy that we have available to us fluctuates and it increases. But overall, the guides are saying there is a trend that this energy level is increasing more and more. Now, our vessel is capable of operating at the energy level that it currently has. But interestingly enough, in the design that we have, there is also templates that operate at higher energy levels that just start to turn on when we are exposed to these energy levels. Now, what we are doing when we come together is we create an energetic field of a higher voltage temporarily, so that these Ascension templates can be turned on and we can take them on a test drive. And when we take them on a test drive, we start to see, wow, my consciousness can expand further than I've ever experienced. Wow, I'm in deeper peace than I've ever been. Wow, I'm in non-dual states of pure love and forgiveness. Wow, I'm having spontaneous realignment or rebalancing or healing experiences in these states. So something powerful happens when we go into these states. Personally, for the group that is participating, but also, I believe, for the collective humanity. And so Ascension templates eventually will start to activate in every human being as the energy levels rise on Earth, as they have been. But when we do this consciously, preemptively, then we are almost like going to the gym, practicing, training, and navigating these templates that are innate to us with navigating higher energy levels around us. So that's the way I see it. And yeah, I think it's a really powerful thing to think about, that I do have an energetic template inside of me that's already been there. It was just waiting for the right energy levels to be like turned on, basically just, switch on. And for everyone, it's like an individualized experience. So I can't say like, okay, this is what I'm experiencing, therefore this is what you should be experiencing. But there is certain things that are correlating, I would say, in people's experiences. And it's hard to summarize it, because very often it's like we run out of adjectives, right? To describe something of a multidimensional nature in a very simplified human language, right? So it is an indescribable experience of peace, expansion, freedom, strength, alignment, and in many ways, an experience of love, of the deepest form of unconditional love I have ever witnessed.
Absolutely. And
Oh,
go ahead.
well, as we move through this process of ascension, reality changes around us. We change the reality here on Earth. Would you, who are listening to this, like to be part of the energetic that removes war from the planet, that no longer has homeless people, has health care for everyone? Would you like to be part of that? Because this is what Ascension is about, changing our global reality.
And that happens through a felt sense recognition of oneness. This is what Alcazar has said. The fastest way to change humanity is actually to focus on yourself. First of all, loving yourself deeply, and raising your vibration, because as that collective field starts to raise up, these blinders that keep us in the lower frequencies as a collective start to drop off, because they simply can't really be maintained in the same way in those higher fields. So in the same way that effortlessly we relax into the meditation and our field expands, the same thing is happening to the entire planet and every being on the planet.
And that's our intention in this accelerated ascension. And we're going to come together in this amazing place in Turkey. And when our energies come together, they magnify each other. That's why it's so important to have these gatherings. Otherwise, we could just do it all online. And so Asil has been visiting this beautiful place. Perhaps you can say a little bit about it.
Yes, so happy to. I had a small family visit in Turkey. I have still relatives that live in Turkey. And I combined that trip by visiting the location that we're going to be in. And it's wonderful. It's really the staff, the sea. Admittedly, it was quite hot because it's, July when I visited, but when we're going to be there, it's going to be perfect. It's going to be like this sweet, warm, but nice breeze of the Mediterranean Sea. The water was crystal clear by the hotel. That is just, we have a whole, waterfront. And I mean, from all the amenities that we could think of to make this as nice as possible for ourselves, it checks off a lot of the boxes, right? Because we could technically gather anywhere and we could do this work in many different ways. But there is something beautiful if we can manage to do this in a country like Turkey that is neighboring to a lot of countries that are currently in challenging circumstances, worldly realities. And if we can, from that place and the energy lines that Turkey has, support and send the transformative energy from there into the neighboring countries, into the world, it's almost like a pulse of energy that we can send through the work we do in that particular place, which happens to be close by to the famous Ephesus and the famous House of Mother Mary and many ancient sites that were built there for a reason. Oh, one more fun fact. As they were building the hotel, the lady said, you know, they were just starting to like set the groundwork, and they discovered there is like another ancient ruins of Greek temples that they found as they were starting to build the hotel, which they had to section off for the archaeology department of Turkey to come in and do excavations.
Wow.
They had to change the hotel plans as they were building it as a result of that. So we might be sitting on top of, by the way, you might be seeing this on the right side on the previous one. Don't worry about it. That we might be sitting on top of temples that, you know, the ancient Greek civilization built at that time.
Wow. I
That's
didn't know about
wild.
that.
Yeah, that was new to me as well. And I was like, this is interesting. It really, that whole area is very charged, very powerful. And, you know, we're going to be doing some deep meditative work and deep transformative work. And I was thinking as I was going out there visiting the dock right by the water, I was like, you know, we could be doing some beautiful sunrise. You see the giant dock here with the umbrellas there? They
Oh, yeah.
can change that for us. We might be the only people, like the biggest group during that time at this hotel. So we can do like our meditations at sunset outside if we wanted to by the water, or maybe sunrise yoga for people that do sunrise yoga. Things like that. So there is a lot of beautiful opportunities to do deep work in a beautiful environment.
Wow.
And these are photos that you actually took right now, when you were there in
Correct.
July.
Correct. It was hustling and bustling, and that's because it's right now prime season for you know, tourism and things like that. But when we are there, it's much more quiet in terms of, like, we won't be surrounded by tourists and families the way it is currently.
Yeah. And so this is an invitation to those of you who've been thinking about joining us in Turkey. Do it. We really want to see you there. We're going to have hundreds of people in person, and it's going to create this huge energy field. We're also going to be live streaming, and that's open now too. And the link is dropped in the chat for both of those so you can see all of the details. But just know that this is going to be a really special location. There's when you say that there's like Greek ruins that were just found, and literally we were like a stone's throw from there with 1,000 people in 2023 in KOS, Greece. It's like those sites were probably like sister sites because they're right across the Mediterranean from each other.
It's all like super connected, right? And humanity has always been building these giant temples on top of energetic nodal points. So the nodal points existed way before humans were building buildings and temples. So the energy there in that area is very potent. And we are able to access it, and we will be able to uplift the fields that we are generating, and through that field distribute an energy through the network, through the grid, across the earth, across the world. And it requires, you know, that's why it's multiple days, and it's not just like, hey, let's do this in one day. It requires some preparation, and it requires some quieting of the mind, of the heart. It requires some cleansing. It requires some internal alignment and synchronization, a resonance in the field that we establish, so that we can then uplift together, right? So we create that alignment first, and then the uplifting starts. And boy, it did lift pretty strongly in Slovenia, as far as I remember. Once the whole thing was set up and synchronized, the group was flawless. There was such a coherence in the field and such a deep resonance that I don't know if you can resonate to what I'm saying. Sometimes you are like in a workshop and you look at these people and they look so familiar as if you had known them forever. They don't look like strangers. They don't look like someone you just met yesterday. They look like people that have been doing this, that have been coming together in many forms, in many lifetimes, in many different shapes of avatars, in many different traditions to do a similar type of work. Expand in consciousness and support the evolution of humanity, support the ascension of humanity. And so I look around in the room and I think to myself, oh, we're back at it again. And here we are. Let's do this.
I love that. And it's one thing to find yourself in a peak state, but there's something so magical and extraordinary about entering those higher states with a group of people, and you look around and you're all in a higher state together at the same time, and it's like, wow, like, you know, we enter into spaces together like in Slovenia where it was just like pin drop silence. And you look around and every single person is like, they look like a Buddha. And so it's really special, and I'm really looking forward to it. So
I know many of the people that are actually listening on this live stream have participated in previous gatherings, and we would appreciate your insight, your experience of being together in a group. How did that feel for you? What did you come away with? Drop it in the chat. Let's share that with those people who haven't actually been able to join us personally, because it's always interesting to hear from other people rather than from us who are actually guiding
We
the
already
process.
sold. We're going to be there no matter what.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So where do we go from here?
Should we drop in?
Greetings. We are Elohim. Throughout the many lifetimes and many lives you have lived, throughout the many forms you have encountered this current life and this current form as human on earth is the culmination of your evolutionary process. And as humanity as a form is coming to its great ascension, you have chosen to partake. You have chosen to receive and witness this great moment. Yet it is not a passive experience. You are an active contributor, and all your actions, all your choices matter. Co-create this transformative event. And while you may perceive this ascension process to be an external event, it is truly more an internal experience that culminates through the many internal experiences of humans as an experience of the human collective. In this transformative process, in this ascension process, many stages will be witnessed and experienced. These changes of energetic intensity, energetic potency, can be received without practice as fluctuations of your reality, and can truly challenge the mind, the heart, the body, and the energetic spiritual construct. Yet with the choice of practice, of expansion of the mind, of strengthening of your energetic spiritual construct, with a deep sense of alignment within, with a collaborative effort to find coherence and resonance in these potent fields that you co-create, you strengthen yourselves and you allow yourselves to go through the changes of this human reality with grace, with a greater sense of confidence, stability, and abundance. Will you choose to receive the gifts that this reality has to give? Or will you choose to be a victim to the circumstances that have been given in order to provide learnings? Will you choose to learn in established environments and energetic fields? Or will you choose to learn in unconscious ways as it has been for thousands of years? This is a gift from higher planes of consciousness, and your soul has chosen to receive this gift. No matter the doubts of the mind, the fears of the heart, the limitations of the body, you wouldn't be here if you couldn't receive this transformative gift. And truly, your participation makes all of this possible. Therefore, the accelerated ascension is a project, a momentum, a movement, a gift from higher planes to humanity in preparation for its ascension. Thank you for listening to our words.
And so, beloved ones, we would like to say a few words about why we invite you to come together. As you already know, a beautiful energetic field is created which already assists you in raising your vibration. But as you are also aware, you have old programming, old belief systems which hold you back. When you gather with such a large group of people, something else happens. It beyond the mind. It happens when you come together and your higher aspects support each other in your personal evolution. Let us give you an example. Maybe you are still struggling with a difficult situation in your life with some other person. They are there in your life. You cannot resolve the issues between you. But in this large gathering, there are others who have lived through similar challenges and resolved them. And so, being with them in this higher elevated field, you start to absorb understandings from the pathway that those others have already created to resolve these interpersonal challenges. And so, as you are there in this energetic field, you are absorbing answers, new ways of relating. And as you move back into your life, that challenge that has been there perhaps for a long time, suddenly you have a clarity, a whole new way of expressing yourself that brings resolution to this challenge. Understand that in these energy fields, it is very difficult to explain in words what is occurring on so many different levels. When you come together, and over these days, what starts to happen is a field of oneness, an alignment with the group, so that the field in the room is vibrating in a harmonious nature. Then you start to receive these individual downloads, so to speak, not in the mind, but from your very beingness. There is a realignment within you that supports these dissolving of some of the limitations that you arrive with. This is important to understand. Not everything is obvious. Not everything can be explained easily in words. When we gather like this, many people have found over these past 3 gatherings that physical changes happen in their body. Healing, you might like to call it, happens just by being there, not doing anything. Why? How does this happen? It is because, beloved ones, the healing happens when there is no negative, emotional, energetic, which has caused the imbalance in the physical body. So, as we were saying, when you are in this large gathering, the vibration there can suggest to you a way of resolving the emotional issues that have caused the illness or imbalance in your body. When you receive on a higher level that understanding that can allow the emotional release, the body no longer needs to remind you with that illness. And it simply dissolves out of your body, and it can happen in moments. The body can realign itself just by sitting and meditating with the hundreds of other people there. There are many levels and layers to what is occurring in these gatherings, which are not always talked about. We are inviting you to bring your totality to these gatherings. Because, beloved ones, as you are supported in releasing the old, Ascension happens all by itself because, beloved ones, you are already perfect beings. And now is the time to reveal to yourself this perfection.
And so, beloved ones, each and every one of you has a seed within you. This seed is what is being called the Ascension Templates. And this is a technology. Be not confused about this. It is within you already. What occurs in these gatherings is that it is triggered into awakening, and there are layer upon layer of these triggerings, layer upon layer of these levels of awareness that spontaneously occur as you enter into the fullness of who you truly are. And so we give you an analogy. Many of you assume that because you have this seed within you, that first it has to sprout, then you have to water it and give it sunlight and nutrients. And to a certain extent, this is the case. However, we wish for you to feel into this reality. That seed which is within you is your true nature. And your true nature has always been. It is not that it is being created as you meditate. And so if you can imagine the full flowering of your beingness already exists in the higher realms. A full flower, you could imagine it as a white rose in its full blossom, in its full glory. And that seed within you, as you simply sit in these elevated energy fields, there can be moments suddenly where the full flower appears. These are the glimpses. These are what are being triggered within you with these templates. The process of ascension is the process of re-remembering who you truly are. And we would suggest that what is occurring more than the sprouting and the growing of this seed is that the seed develops the root systems within your humanness. And so you could imagine the seed as it is sprouting into awakening. It is pouring these intricate root systems. The root systems are your extended nervous system. For your physical nerves are how you feel, how you translate this reality through the eyes, the ears, the smell, the taste, the touch, the sense of your interior, the sense of self in space and time. There is an extended nervous system that reaches into the ethers, that is designed to operate within the quantum field, which is to say, the multidimensional reality, the real reality, where spirit resides. And all of these senses, they can operate in higher levels. Beloved ones, you are reaching a time and a space where you can go beyond that which you have previously known, that which you have previously experienced, where these full picture glimpses of the real reality of who you are can start to come to you through your direct awareness. And so we give you this analogy. Feel into it, the seed already existing as the flower, and the flower simply appearing to you. That is accelerated ascension. It is knowing full well where you are going so that you can get there far faster.
Beautiful.
And so we believe there are some questions.
Yes, thank you, Elohim and Alcazar. What do we mean by the Great Ascension or the Ascension, individually and collectively? Do we go somewhere? Is it a singular event? Can you share more?
And so we will respond to this. You do not go anywhere. Your perception of reality changes. There is more joy, more love, more awareness, more consciousness in your life. And that affects all those around you. It affects the very circumstances that you live. You become more creative. You start to realize that you are, in fact, creating your own reality moment by moment, and then you start to follow the intuitive guidance, which brings you always to the highest potential moment by moment by moment. So no, you do not go somewhere else, but your experience starts to be totally different. And as you radiate this love, this beauty, this clarity, those around you are touched by it. They cannot help it. So your very presence starts to assist in the evolution of those around you who are interacting with you. But not only that, as most of you know, there is an energetic connection between the whole of humanity. You are all connected energetically to what is called the morphic field of humanity. And so as you raise your vibration, as your energetic becomes purer and more beautiful, that vibration is added to the morphic field. And that raises the frequency of the field. And the mind might say, but I am just one person and there are billions of people here on the earth. But beloveds, when you come together, you are not just one person. When you come together, you amplify what's happening in the field. And you can uplift thousands of people without them even knowing it. Beloved ones, there is a magic and miracle to this process of personal ascension, personal evolution. And so feel what we are saying. Allow self to have a deep yes to your own evolution and being a gift to humanity and the planet through that personal evolution. Mm. Mm.
Emmanuel, would you care to share your perspective?
The human mind requires objectives to work towards, as the mind is conditioned to see reality in a linear unfolding. Time passes, you move forward. Yet in this ascension process, it is beyond the linearity of this experience. Therefore, ascension is not truly an objective, yet a natural unfolding of this form. A change of frequency, a change of evolutionary state. As a result of the culmination of the learnings, the realizations gathered together. Therefore, the many lifetimes you have lived, the many lives that have been witnessed by the collective of humanity have contributed to the rising of the frequency of this field that humanity holds together. And the critical milestone of this realization moment is considered the ascension of humanity as a collective. Yet individuals will, in their lifetime, before the collective ascension is experienced, experience moments of personal ascension. They will experience deep moments of connection, of oneness, of love, in a way they have never perceived before. The depth and clarity of this form, of this life, of this experience, uniquely delivered to you, beyond any objectives, desires, or wants, beyond any goals to be had. Merely a moment in full reception of reality. This collective endeavor of accelerated ascension is meant to create the supporting field and the fertile ground for you to have these individualized experiences, as well as the collective experience of a simulated ascension process. The activation of the Ascension Templates is a natural byproduct and an essential element to support you on the way forward, so that past the experience of accelerated ascension, you carry a unique signature, a unique gift with you that you can reactivate in moments required, in moments necessary, by yourself or together. You are the one making this gift possible, as without recipients, there would be no gift in the first place. And it is you that shapes the gift by not only receiving, yet embodying, integrating, and sharing, by carrying it forward, by being the shining example of this embodied gift. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Alcazar, and thank you, Emmanuel. Can Ascension templates be activated more than once, or is it a one-time process? And do they deepen or evolve with each activation?
The activation can take place as many times as necessary. Every single time, the activation will become more and more familiar, yet the experience of understanding as well as integrating this activated aspect of the templates will become more aligned, more of an element natural to your being. No longer a separate aspect, no longer a mystical activation. It is truly who you are. No separation, no external empowerment. It is your internal empowerment. Therefore, a power within you is now being reinstated as yours.
Mm.
You are uniquely supported to receive this activation and reactivate, to understand, to learn, to perceive even more deeply who you are in carrying this power, who you are in your greatest alignment, who you are in the greatest possibility of unconditional love present. Therefore, a rediscovery of who you are and who you can be in your full potential. Thank you for your question.
And we would simply add, with this analogy we gave earlier, that the full flower of your beingness can appear and shock the system into a new state of order. And so these Ascension templates, they are a technology that is capable of being triggered into a refinement and activation through the work of this one, Asil. As he embodies the high energies of the angelics, he is capable of holographically triggering templates within each and every one of us here in the human form. And so what is occurring is that if you can imagine, you have these glimpses of a higher state of order. And in those glimpses, you as a humanness are actually prepared to hold that in its sustained form. That is what is occurring. And so as this one Emmanuel has just said, the activations occur as many times as is needed. However, each time there is a gift that remains. There are cellular changes. There are changes in these templates. And what is a template? It is a blueprint. And so you are building the scaffolding for your humanness to go higher and higher and higher. So we thank you for your question.
Thank you, Alcazar. Thank you, Emmanuel. One last question. What new energetic shifts have occurred on our planet since our last gathering? And what new potentials are now available for us to attune to?
Mm. what is occurring on your planet is a result of human consciousness. Many will look around at what is occurring in your world and say, oh, we are spiraling into darkness. We would suggest that that darkness has always been there. There has always been this conflict between the light and the dark, so to speak. But remember, you came to experience duality. That was part of the human experience. You cannot experience duality without both sides. The learning that you have lived through has been experiencing both sides of this duality. Now, what is occurring is that slowly, slowly, as more light is brought in, the whole of the human vibration, the morphic field, is being uplifted. So even those who have been carrying the lower energies are also being gently uplifted. Out in the world, the old structures are breaking down. Why? Because those old, heavier energies can no longer maintain them. And so they are trying harder and harder and harder to control. And just as they try harder, their control is more and more obvious, and more people are saying, no, I no longer wish to live like that. There are thousands and thousands of people turning to meditation and alternate ways of awakening every day as a reaction from what is occurring in the world. And so, beloveds, be aware that this collapse of your societies is going along with a rising of consciousness. The old system still holds the reins of the media, still in control of the media. As their control of the media lessens, you will start to hear about the amazing things that are already here and already happening. So, beloved ones, trust, follow your intuition, continue to awaken, and watch the beautiful occurrences that will become more obvious in your world.
That which is capable of occurring these days, these months, these years is a kind of resurgence of hope. There has been a certain hopelessness. You can see it all around you, especially in this particular country these two sit in. And yet, the very public acts that seem to defy humanity, grace, and beauty, that seem to defile the human spirit, are actually creating another root system. You can see communities are coming together to support each other. Where you put your focus matters greatly these days. Because, beloved ones, the acceleration in human consciousness is exponential. The field has been slowly building and slowly building and slowly building. And now you are reaching a turning point where truly consciousness can skyrocket. However, this hopelessness is like a blanket that brings people's energy down. But can you imagine what can occur as innovations to support humanity on all levels start to leak out? The very same people who felt, oh, we cannot do anything, will start to feel, hey, we can fix everything. This is the potential we wish to highlight for humanity. A resurgence of people who feel empowered to change not only their lives, but the very systems that society depends upon. And so the very systems and structures that are in peril right now, as they crumble, this new root system within humanity steps forth to say, with these new technologies, let us build a new society, a new system, a new structure. And so know it well, beloveds, as you come together for the accelerated ascension, you are coming together in an energy that has never been before. To a certain extent, there has never been such a drastic contrast between the high energies of the field, which are higher than they have ever been. The rocket fuel, the potential energy, the gifts of spirit more accessible than ever before. And there has never been such a contrast between these high energies and the ways that the collective are perceiving this sense of helplessness, conflict, political actions outside of their control. And so what we wish to remind you of is that this is the time you have been waiting for. This is the heralding signal of the new dawn, of a new humanity. It comes with the pains of transformation. And yet, by your very act of stepping into the field, of becoming transfigured into a beacon of light, that beacon ripples across timelines. It ripples through the mechanism of the connectedness of the universe, the connectedness of humanity as a whole, and upliftment can occur. So there has never been a more important time to do this work. And we thank this one, Asil, and the Emmanuel, the angelics, the Elohim, for their contribution is vital. And so we pass the torch of this question now to Emmanuel. What has changed energetically from your perspective?
This reality and this human experience is provided to you to bring forth your response as a result of your conscious perception of the moment. Therefore, you perceive the light and the dark, the good and the bad, the ups and the downs of this reality as a result of a possibility for learning and realization. And how you respond to this reality that you perceive defines the state of consciousness that you have reached as an individual and as a collective. And so everything that emerges in this reality is, in many ways, a culmination of all that has occurred before, all that has been learned, and all that is still to be learned. And in many ways, it is a momentary glimpse into the state of consciousness, how humanity, how you respond to what is emergent before you. What are the thoughts? What are the emotions? What are the sensations that are available? Are you in fear? Are you in anger? Are you in rage? Are you partaking in destructive energies? Do you find yourself neutral? Do you find yourself in compassion? Do you find yourself in love, in hope, in the possibility for a greater future, for a greater possibility? Do you find yourself in thoughts of forgiveness, even to those that have harmed, even to those that have destroyed? Who are you in the face of great fluctuations and challenges in this reality? And this is the only true leverage and vantage point of your influence. It is you, and it always has been you. Never the outside, never that which is occurring to be changed, never other individuals to act differently so that you can find peace within yourself. Yet for you to find peace and love, no matter the circumstances, and in spite of the greatest challenges of life. Therefore, as a great ascension is emergent, great challenges will come along so that you as individuals will show your true colors, will show the way you respond, the way you receive, the way you hold yourself in the realizations that have occurred within you, in the alignment that you have found, in the possibility that you have embraced of being human. Every iteration of accelerated ascension, therefore, is a unique opportunity to reassess the current state of your consciousness, the current state of humanity's consciousness, as well as the current state of the ascension process emergent in humanity. This will be a unique, never before had energetic potential. States of consciousness never experienced before, and the potential to affect and impact all of humanity as a result of this gathering. Thank you for your question.
Wow. This has been a very amazing experience together. And there's just one thing that I'd like to personally add. Alcazar has said ever since I started channeling him 35 years ago, that all the technology that we need to change the planet is already here. There's been the ability to draw free energy, as it's often called, from the quantum field. It's been here on the planet since before any of us listening were born. And yet those that have been controlling have kept it away from us. That is going to start appearing in a near future. At some point, take a moment and imagine what it would be like to have free energy, a little box in your home that supplies everything, a little box in your car that supplies electricity for your car. Can you imagine what it would be like if all the production processes that everything that we use goes through, it all relies on energy? Can you imagine the drop in price of virtually everything when there's no extra charge for energy? This is just one thing which is coming. Can you imagine the change that will be created in the world? So, free water everywhere because it can be pumped around the world for virtually no cost. Can you imagine the resources that are freed up to take care of everyone, everywhere?
Then when you start to combine the free energy with the fact that we already have flying taxis, I don't know if they're actually in Dubai, but they're definitely in London being advertised when I saw it last. So like if you can imagine, it's a metaphor, because once you have flying cars and you have free energy, you don't need the same old infrastructure. So the pavement of the roads themselves can start to be broken up so that we have literal new life. Like everything can change. And can you imagine also when the narrative of humanity can change, when we realize as we get the free energy that it's been there since who knows how long, and we can suddenly rewrite the script of what we're capable of and what we've been through. With disclosure, for example, our friends from the stars start to interact with us, and can you imagine a future humanity looking back and saying, wow, do you remember when we thought we were alone in this universe? It's going to be a bit like looking back at the Middle Ages and being like, wow, they thought that like fruit flies magically transformed from the food scraps. Like they didn't understand that the eggs were laid and the flies hatched, or like they thought the world was flat. And I know there are some people out there who have somehow decided to recreate that belief, but it's like looking back and being like, wow. So it's like we can make these strides forward. Okay. So,
and all that is needed is for the consciousness to rise a little more so that those in control start to lose it.
well, there's also what the Galactic Command said, which is one part and one facet of these technologies being held back is them being held back so that they're not misused.
Yeah.
So it's time to move into the meditation. So we're going to start it off with Stargate, and then we'll see where Emmanuel and the Elohim take it from there. So we invite you all just to relax into your situation, get cozy. With the Stargate work, there's no special way to sit, no special way to breathe, but be open to having an energy experience that transcends time and space. These energy fields are potent. So drop what you may be doing and give this your full attention, or come back later.
And so, beloved ones, we invite you to relax, close the eyes, be comfortable. And so as we start this meditation, we are going to ask each one of you just to ask inside, just quietly asking for the energies of the earth, the energies of Gaia, to come up into your body, into your energy field.
And so we are calling for the energies of the earth, the energies of Gaia. And as you ask, relax and be very receptive, for the earth is responding to you right now.
Very good. And now we invite each one of you to ask for the consciousness of the Stargate, that which we call the etheric Stargate, to come down around you, just to visualize, imagine it, feel it.
And so we are calling for an etheric stargate to form around each one of us.
If you are not sure what a Stargate is, just imagine yourself seated or lying down inside a pyramid.
And so visualizing this stargate structure, this helps to anchor the energy, the consciousness of the stargate. And feel now as your etheric stargate is forming around you.
And as you relax into this Stargate, it will start to gently vibrate you. A soft energy coming from the Stargate as you allow it to activate for you. And so we are now going to vibrate all the etheric Stargates and all the physical Stargates. We're going to vibrate them faster and faster. And as we do so, we will be moving the frequency of the vibration up through the different dimensional frequencies. For all is just energy, all is just frequency. And so we are beginning that process now. Nothing for you to do, just relaxing inside your etheric Stargate.
And already we are vibrating up into your fifth dimensional frequencies, continuing to accelerate through the frequency ranges of your sixth dimension and into the seventh, where all the stargates come to a gentle pause.
And so now we ask you once more to ask from your own heart, your own intention, asking for a strong seventh dimensional energy field in your etheric Stargate.
We call for a strong seventh dimensional energy field in all the stargates around the world.
And as you ask, feel. For again, an energetic will be gently broadcast to you. It will vibrate you very subtly with the frequencies of the seventh dimension. And these subtle energies will begin to vibrate on a very deep level, all the way down to your very DNA, gentle vibrations, and beginning to activate that which we call your higher dimensional DNA, which, beloved ones, is the blueprint for your own evolution. Nothing to do, just receiving, relaxing into the field. The more you relax, the more open you become. The more open you become, the more your templates are vibrated, energized, supported. Nothing to do, just the allowing, just being present in the field with the eyes closed. Do not open the eyes, because then the field that is building within you dissipates. Just be very present in this gentle meditation. And as you relax, you begin to harmonize with this seventh dimensional energy. Your own vibration gently rises, effortlessly, all by itself. Very good.
And so we continue once again to vibrate all the stargates faster still. And so we are rising up now through your eighth dimensional frequencies into the ninth, continuing, accelerating, the field vibrating faster as we move into your 10th dimension and through the 10th into the 11th now, and vibrating into the upper ranges of your 12th dimensional frequencies, where we bring all the stargates again to a gentle pause.
And so each one of you now asking inside for a strong 12th dimensional energy field.
We call for a strong energy field of the 12th dimension.
And again, just feel as your stargate radiates this energetic to you. And as before, slowly, slowly, your own energy will gently rise and come into harmony with the frequencies of the 12th dimension. And again, it happens all by itself, nothing to do. In fact, if you are trying to do it, it slows it down. Just totally relax. Be in the field. Very good. Very good. And as most of you know, when you start to align with this 12th dimensional energy, you become very, very sensitive to the many benevolent guides and beings who are available to assist us in this ascension process, to help us in the acceleration of our own individual process. And so we are going to first invite and ask each one of you to call for the presence and support of the angelic realm.
We call for the presence of the angels.
And as you ask, feel. Here they come. Feeling the energy changing around you as the angelic realm respond to your asking. Just feel this. They are coming simply because you have asked. Feel this, beloved ones. They are responding to you. And so now we wish to invite the many ascended masters, all those who have walked the earth, who have reached that place that you are aspiring to, that place that you call enlightenment, which is just the next step of awakening. And so each one of you now, again, from the heart, asking for the presence, the energy, the support of all the ascended masters to bring their energy into this global meditation.
And so we call for the presence of all the ascended masters.
And just feel as you ask, here they come, coming in a gentle flow of energy, gently getting stronger as they bring their energy into this meditation, coming in a way that you're not overwhelmed, but just gently getting stronger and stronger, inviting them to come closer. Come closer. Allowing yourself to be gently vibrated in this field of enlightenment, this field of wonders.
And they are offering to transmit something that they have never transmitted before. They are inviting each and every one of you just to ask inside, to give your permission for a transmission of the energy of enlightenment, the energy pathway of ascension.
And so giving your permission, and now just feel as something very unique is being shared with you right now. Many masters, many paths to enlightenment. Right now, paths are being shared with you. You are all unique. And in your uniqueness, the masters are sharing a unique path for you. Relax, receive, not trying to understand, but just feeling the subtle energies being broadcast to you right now. And as this broadcast continues, we now invite the support through this one Asil to continue this energetic gift to each one of you.
As representatives of higher realms of consciousness, of creators of this reality, we as the Elohim commend you on the journey that you have taken to come to this place of conscious awareness of who you are and who you can be, of the greater understanding of existence, of this creation, of the many layers and the many realms that support this human experience. And in this moment, you are connected through the fabric of reality in a way that you perceive yourself not to be distinct from others, not to be separate, not to be individualized and alone, yet one with them all. A family, a collective, a community, a group, a one consciousness experiencing the human form. The temporary illusion of individualization, the temporary illusion of separation merely serves a purpose for greater learning. And in moments like these, the veil of the illusion is lifted, and the true nature of reality becomes emergent within you. A greater understanding of all that is. Can you bring this greater understanding of all that is into the daily moments of life? Can you bring that level of peace, that level of love, that level of connection that you feel right now into all aspects of life, no matter how challenging they seem to be? This is the true power of evolution, and the true power of ascension. We will commence with energetic adjustments to allow you to access this state of being with greater ease, despite the lack of this field in future moments. You will continue to reach these states of being in moments of silence, in moments of intention. It shall become a power of yours, embodied by you and executed by you, a power wielded by you for your benefit and the benefit of all of those around you. As those around you will benefit from the love that you bring forth into all of your interactions, the frequency you hold when you witness another human, the love that you fathom no matter who is before you. This is the beauty and the potential you have. Thank you for listening to our words. We will now commence with these adjustments. These adjustments are complete. May you carry this gift forward with the same love that it was given. Our work is complete.
And so, beloved ones, take a moment and feel your own energy present. Feel the subtle vibrations occurring within. You have been touched. Receive it well. Allow it to integrate. And with the intention to allow the integration to continue, you can gently come back into the body, open the eyes, and to connect once more with the oneness within you and around you. And so very gently, just coming all the way back.
And as you open your eyes, just notice if there is a certain freshness. These are deep energetic resets as we receive these unfathomable gifts from the guides. It's as if the stream of all of the momentum of our humanness breaks and is replaced for a moment by a stream of the beyond. And so it can be incredibly refreshing. So we invite you to share your comments in the chat. This is always a critical part of how we share what's happening in the field. So Rita is saying, it was as if I was shaking in all cells of my body very profoundly.
And Mindy is saying the field is powerful with you all here. Beautiful.
How are you doing, Asil? Oh, you're muted.
Pretty good. I quite gently and softly elevated and expanded. And what a beautiful place to be that we can reach. You know? And sometimes it doesn't happen very often anymore, but sometimes I'm, coming out of human experiences that were challenging, or there was traffic and things like that, like things that could be irritating. And then we do one of these, and it just clears the field, as if all of that stuff is, I don't want to say like not relevant, because it is, but it doesn't carry weight. It doesn't carry the charge that it used to. And so there is an elevation. There's a true, maybe even like an ascension, sense of what is possible.
Totally get that.
Well, there's lots of comments coming in. I can't read them all because they're not in English.
Some good ones. Colleen is saying, I immediately had no thought or sensation in my body. Marguerite is saying, I felt hot before starting working with the Stargate, and after a seal activation, I felt tingling running up the right side of my head.
Sadie is saying, so much peace. And Melly Luna is saying, beautiful. I saw a stream of Ankh symbols streaming into my crown chakra. That has never happened before.
And oh, very cool. Connie is saying it was so still, having trouble coming back.
Stay in there.
Stay there.
And Mark said, I felt a strong energy and saw my inner vision gold and violet colors.
And Christel is saying the skies here in Miami were stormy when I went into meditation. And when I opened my eyes, I now see a bright blue sky.
Mhm.
It feels like an outward expression of my internal landscape.
Mm.
Claudia is saying, I shook and quaked, and I am grateful for this new energy and awakening elevation.
Stephanie saying it was definitely easier to reach higher states. So expansive.
Mhm.
And Wysella saying, I felt a gentle vibration, much needed energies, grateful for these energies.
Michelle is saying, my goodness, that was a powerful meditation experience. What Asil is saying about the stuff not carrying the weight is exactly how I feel. Mm.
And Fernanda is saying, energia sublime, muita tranquilidade, gratidão. I think we can all understand this sublime and tranquil energy.
Mm. And Dana is saying very smooth energy like honey. Hannah is saying it's so powerful. I had to cry and lots of noise of violences left my skin. Metatron was so profoundly holding love to these great brutalities, which I am just learning to love.
Wow.
That's beautiful, letting go of that heaviness.
Goosebumps, Hannah.
Very beautiful. And she continues, so much love.
And she's also saying, so full of gratitude as such a deep layer of fear and grief was liberated.
Wow. Yes. Congratulations, Hannah. That's amazing.
And these are the shifts that can happen.
Yeah.
These things happen in real time. And if you can just imagine over 4 days, what we're able to shift into and out of is profound.
Yeah.
And CJ is saying, great sense of peace during the transition, feeling energy filling my body. Thank you.
And Elke is saying, in a group, it is so much easier to allow and drop into being transformed. My heartache lifted with such loving sensations. Thank you so much.
That's such an important point, Elka, that we're trying to stress again and again, that being in the group makes things so much easier. And in fact, the comment that Alcazar said at some point in my head during this was, it might appear as if these guys are creating a workshop for you. What's happening in truth is they are responding because you are creating the call for this workshop to happen. I get goosebumps saying that.
Yeah, I can see them.
You can see them, yes. Yeah.
Biz is saying, still feeling altered, sensing the possibilities for new ways through our polarities.
And Nancy is saying, I had tears, immense gratitude. And Biz is saying, I still feel altered, sensing the possibilities for new ways through our polarities. Gratitude. Thank you, bring me more. Well, it certainly has been a very strong experience for me too.
Well, I'm excited if this is merely a teaser for what is to come. And also knowing how the energies keep compounding over the days, over the sessions within the days. And we go deeper and deeper into places, into states of consciousness we've never been before, right? So it is in some ways a discovery journey for us as well. And yeah, I just feel so blessed that we get to do this together.
It's sheer delight. I mean, when everything that we're doing behind the scenes is the real work. When we come together and we step onto the platform of accelerated ascension together, it's like all of the payoff. And it's like what Prageet is saying about, like, it's actually the collective who are drawn to this experience, who are drawing these energies, these gifts from the higher planes into manifestation, and we just get to show up for that.
Mhm.
And what a gift, Asil, to be co-creating with you. It's such a joy.
Indeed. And Sonia is saying, infinite thanks, peace be with all, from Colombia.
Beautiful.
So I guess it's time to bring this to a close. We went much longer than we expected.
We're only half an hour over, so.
Yeah.
Julia is saying, making an interesting comment. She said, I realized when calling on the universe, that's the part of me remembering myself. Beautiful.
Really beautiful. And Deborah is saying, I feel my whole body energizing. Lately, I have been feeling the polarity as strongly as never before. So, beautiful ones, we are going to sign off with a beautiful video of the venue in Turkey. And please, however you can, bring your energy to be a part of this experience. It will be live streamed. There's nothing like being in person.
Okay.
So with that, we will wish you beautiful, rest of your August. And the early bird pricing is going to end on August 31st. Hey, Christel, I see you just popped on. You have something you wish to say?
No, I'm just here for support. You're doing a great job, Julieanne.
Well, it's nice to see you again.
The way you read the questions was absolutely amazing.
As always.
Thank you. Thank you. Just feeling into the energy of it. But yes, early bird does end.
August 31st. So, with that, let's play you all out with that beautiful video of the venue in Turkey, and we hope to see you there with us in October. So much love.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
And thank you for those people that are translating into so many different languages.
Yay.
This practice gives you like a really strong foundation, because the foundation comes from within. It gives you your own power and your own sense of knowing.
It's a combination of being treating yourself on a short or holiday. It's with good vibrations, lots of energies. A spirit guide is constantly working and keeping your energy field really glowing and radiant. And that's going to, do you feel that?
I'm able to stay more centered for more of the time, I guess, as they would call it, in more alignment. So I don't reach those states of stress that I used to feel. So that to me is a really key point, is just sort of living a life of less anxiety.
Turkey has so many powerful sacred sites, and we get to be in that energetic field, connecting to the network that's there. The powerful history, the powerful ancient civilizations, and the powerful contemporary civilizations that have existed in Turkey have left their mark in physical creations, ancient ruins, energetic structures. It's all accessible to us if we go to some of these places and tune deeply into the energy that's present.
This is where we're going. and you can see it's beautiful. It's right on the coastline, and it's going to have space for everyone to come and stay and create a microcosm of community.
I invite you to join us online or in person.
One of the fastest ways to evolve your consciousness and to receive actual embodied spiritual awakening is to immerse in these experiences.
The energies are off the charts and incredibly strong, and there is an aspect of community that only happens when we all come together in a very sacred way, in a really powerful and beautiful way, in a powerful location, for a powerful purpose.
We're going to be creating something truly magnificent together.
Your energy is needed.
Okay. Look forward to seeing you there.